What's the most mom and dad aren't home thing you've ever seen, experienced? Was staying over at friend's house. Wake up to dude mowing the lawn. Didn't think anything of it. Friend wakes up and sees it and says, "We don't have a guy mow the lawn." Guy finishes and comes to door asking for money. Doesn't speak any English. Some random dude just mowed the lawn and wanted money for it, like the stereotype homeless jumping on your windshield. Okay, here is a story about how dumb I was as a kid. I'm in 3rd grade and I hate school already. My best friend who was the grade under me lived right across the street. In the morning I would meet him and we would walk down to the bus and go to school. My mom worked nights and my sister was only 3 to 4, so she wasn't in school yet. So my mom stayed home all day and would watch me and my best friend after school, since his mom and dad worked until 4 to 5 in the afternoon. Okay, that's the setup. One day I get this great idea that we are going to ditch school. After my friend's mom leaves, we will go across the street and spend the whole day in my friend's house. Then when school was supposed to get out, we would just walk across the street like nothing happened. The plan started off great. We played NES, I'm old, and snooped around the house for a few hours. For some reason I decided to look across the street at my house, and to my surprise my mom's car was gone. This freaked me out. It didn't occur to my little brain that my mom probably ran errands every day when I was at school and she would be back before school got out so I could come home. I remember telling my friend, "Where did she go?" I kept getting more and more worried. So I smartly went across the street and next door to my parents' house to our landlord, who lived next door and owned both houses. I told him school got out early and I needed to be let into my house. I know. So dumb. So he let us in and now we were playing in my house. 2 hours before school was supposed to be out. About 20 to 30 minutes later my mom pulls up, and as soon as I hear the car in the driveway it was like the spell was broken and I realized I was. She was flipped out, asking what happened. Why I was home. How I got in. Logically I told her. I got on the bus, but when I got to school I didn't recognize anyone from my class. So I came home. She was confused, but she didn't suspect I had ditched because I was so young and never been in trouble. She called the school and was trying to get to the bottom of things. My friend went to his house when his mom got home. And the house was still a mess from us being there half the day. His mom got the truth out of him and his mom called my mom. My parents were. I was grounded for 2 weeks. I was a idiot. Went to a friend's place. His dad was a deacon. About a dozen of us huddled in a room passing a bottle of stolen sacramental wine. Wincing with every sip. Oh, to be a dumbass teenager again. Back in the very early 80s my sister and I were latchkey kids. My dad often had to travel for work. He always had a beard. One day he had gotten back from a trip early in the afternoon and had a friend drop him at the house. During his trip he decided to trim off his beard. My sister and I were both home after school and he knocked on the front door. He never took his keys with him for some reason. My sister and I wouldn't let him in the house because we didn't recognize him. Even though he tried to convince us he was our dad. So he basically had to sit on the front porch until our mom got home from work. He actually wasn't mad at all. And we laughed about it for years. We had a mate throw a huge party one Easter when his parents went away. Problem was, we were 16 and underage. Liquor stores were closed for Easter NZ law, and we made it an open invite party in a bad area. A lot of people showed up and the place got robbed clean of over $30,000 worth of stuff. Will never forget calling my mom and stepdad to pick me up at 11 p.m. and driving past the influx of cop cars coming down the road with a guy running away pushing the barbecue up a hill. Guy got in a lot of trouble. They luckily caught one of the guys, so insurance paid up. I smoked weed with my friends and duct taped my 6Y0 cousin to the wall. He loved it. For me it was listening to loud music and playing video games on the big TV. I never threw parties because I was afraid people would trash the house. Many moons ago when I was a freshman in high school, my friend and I had a brilliant idea of getting drunk before basketball practice. We went to my house because both of my parents were working. For some reason we got a blender and we were blending and downing screwdrivers. We were smashed and left the house and started walking to practice. It was snowing out and a neighborhood kid jokingly threw a snowball at me. It hit me right in the neck. The cold snow, and fact that I was super drunk, threw me into like a shock. I fell over and the first thing to hit was my head off of the curb. I woke up a full 24 hours later with my dad standing over me in the hospital. When I was a kid, my friend Juan and I liked to make parachutes for our action figures out of plastic grocery bags. One day we got to thinking, what if we get a bigger bag and use them as parachutes for us as we jumped off the roof? My parents weren't home, so we went up to the attic and out a window onto the roof. Thankfully my dad had forgotten something and came back to see us both on the roof about to do something very stupid. I'm so glad he showed up because obviously our plan would not have worked and we both could have gotten seriously injured. Parents left for a New Year party. I filled my nacho hat with Oreos and milk. I thought it was a great idea. Next minute I was pantsless on New Year's. And thus starting a tradition I am happy with now. So, I was in cinema on 12-hour Lord of the Rings marathon with a group of friends. Which ended like at 11 o'clock. My parents were on a vacation and my friend, who lives in a city 30 kilometers away, was supposed to sleep at our place. Because the next train was leaving at 6 a.m. The marathon ended. We said goodbye to other friends and then we were supposed to take a taxi. However, because we both are anxious idiots, we rather choose to walk all the way to our house, which is in other city. Like 5 kilometers away. As we were walking, things were very calm. Just some blinking lights and stuff. Finally, we got home at CCA 1:30. But we didn't feel tired at all. So we just stayed up and made some chicken nuggets. The whole kitchen looked like a British WW1 trench, but it was worth it. After that, we just played computer games until 6 a.m. and finally gone to sleep. Just saying. I am 16. Have very protective parents and live in Slovakia. My parents have a caravan on a camping near the coast. They go there every weekend in early summer. From age 16-ish, I didn't have to go with them anymore and was trusted to stay home for the weekend. I'd have friends over every Saturday to drink beer, smoke weed, watch movies, etc. The first time I ended up in the bathtub with 2 girls and a lot of water spilled out under the laminate floors in the hall. We had to raise it up a bit so it could dry. Otherwise we always left the house tidy. Good times. Not exactly, not home, 7-year-old me. And 7-year-old neighbor girl. She has a Wendy house set up in her front room. In this house, a thin nylon tent, we assumed we would be able to play you show me yours and I will show you mine, because mama couldn't fit into it. We soon found that she didn't need to fit into it. If she could turn it upside down and hit us through the thin material walls. My older brother, unintentionally, ran over my younger brother with a tractor. Younger one sat on the attached second chair on the side of the cockpit. Older one drove very fast and the tractor hopped and younger one couldn't hold on and slipped under the tire. Older one didn't get because he was shocked and crying about running him over. Younger one turned out fine. Well, just as is the older one. Well, my high school girlfriend came over for a sleepover. We played games, listened to music, watched a movie, knocked some boots. And then I woke up early the next morning before she did to make banana pancakes. And then woke her up to Breakfast with Banana Pancakes by Jack Johnson playing in the background. So does domestic bliss count as a mom and dad aren't home thing? My older brother pushed me through the door. Because we were fighting over who got to put his food in the microwave first. Ah yes. Spoiled cringe. When my sister reached 12 and I was 11, we were left in charge of our 2 younger siblings, 7 and 5. It was the first time we had been left alone for the evening, so the stakes were high. Naturally. At some point we were all fighting about something and one of us picked up the phone threatening to call my parents. As luck would have it, my mum was calling to check on us at that very same moment, so the phone didn't ring but she was connected and could hear everything going on. She was greeted by about 2 minutes of the 4 of us trying to outdo one another using every foul word we knew, accompanied by lots of screaming. She and my dad raced home immediately, of course, and there was to pay. My mum even started smoking again, blaming the stress of 4 kids for not being able to quit. A bit late but threw a party and some douche poured vodka into our pond where almost all the fish died. I blamed it on the neighbor's cat. I was at a friend's house. Her family is very Catholic and conservative, only the parents. In fact, the children are way more open. So the fact that I was alone with her seemed like a trouble for her parents. I am a boy. After some time, one of her little sister came with her boyfriend. They went straight in her bedroom and they FCKED. About 30 minutes later, they come back in the living room, where I was still chatting with my friend. The boyfriend goes out and my friend's sister comes chat with us. And we casually speak about what happened with many details. About an hour later the parents are back and the discussion immediately switches to what's happening at school. And the plans for that Sunday's mass. I still laugh about it when I remember it.